for you yet, or maybe you've gotten options built for you in the past and you want to adjust them and check out some new options. We can definitely do that here for you today. But I think without further ado, Joe, if you are ready, I think it's time for you to take it away.
All right, everybody, welcome to this week's MVP Book Club. And here we go. This is going to be a lesson, which is very exciting. It's called The Power of Silence. Now, this may surprise you because a lot of people in the sales business, people who are doing sales and think they're in the sales part of as a professional, has a very powerful tool that is used rarely or not often enough, and that is your ability to say nothing. In this lesson, we're going to explore why silence, which is used intentionally, is one of your greatest assets during a sales call. So let's start with the simple truth. Most salespeople talk too much. I am a classic example. And we're going to have Sabrina on in a few minutes, and she also is a classic example of somebody who talks too much. We are folk. One of the hardest things I have to do for me in the sales process is because I talk so much to fill up all the space on this podcast and on this and the book club. I mean, people are here to get content from me, right? So I feel like I owe it to them to talk a lot. The problem is in the sales process, if you do too much talking, people will get bored and they'll check out. So most salespeople talk too much. They feel uncomfortable with pauses or empty space. They assume the customer needs more information when they did not request it, and they want to convince, explain, and justify to get the job. Now, here's the problem. The more you talk, the more you take control away from the customer. So when you're doing pure motive service properly, the entire process is designed to make the customer feel heard, in control, safe, respected, and supported and cared for. That's what we're trying to do. So when you accomplish a lot more, honestly, in the times when we're not talking, to let the customer talk and to just listen, right? So silence allows them to process and own the decision so they feel like they sold themselves. You've done the work, you've diagnosed the whole system, wrote it all down, you've written all those customized prices and made all the different verbal packaging that we've talked about, uh, and now let them decide. By the time you've delivered your options, you've done everything. You've built the rapport, you've gathered personal and technical information, you created custom options tailored to the family and to the system, and you presented those options clearly with all the warranty and service. At that point, you're no longer the decision maker. You're the facilitator and not the closer. Make sense? The power of pausing after what should we do? Remember, that's your go-to question. What should we do? After you ask that question, your job is simple. Stay quiet. Let the customer speak next. Whoever talks next loses. Whoever stays quiet longest wins. Does that make sense? Let the customer speak next. Silence is not your enemy, it's your ally. Here's why silence is so powerful. It creates space for ownership. The customer needs a moment to take responsibility and to process the information. It creates a positive tension and expectation. And this isn't pressure, it's simply allowing the gravity of the decision to settle in so the client knows that he or she are committed to getting the job done. And here's the final thing is it shows confidence. Your silent communication kind of means without saying it, I've given you everything you need. Now the choice is yours. What should we do? Most customers expect salespeople to keep talking, to keep selling, to keep lowering the price, to negotiate against yourself. But when you pause, you break that pattern. Instead of feeling sold, they feel respected. So let's say you presented 6 options on a replacement or a repair. You've walked them through it, the platinum plan with all the full system enhancements, the safety and health items that are needed, the quality and reliability upgrades, and then all of the service that comes with it. The mid-range, which is partial enhancements, and the basic fix just gets the job done at the very minimum. You finish presenting, you look at the customer and say, so what should we do? And then silence. The customers look at the paper, they look at each other. You feel that urge to speak, but instead you shut up and you don't speak. After 10 seconds, the spouse, mostly likely the wife, says, well, honestly, I want that option that gives us the better quality or the better enhanced quality. Our son has asthma and they need that better air quality. Our daughter's got eczema. She needs that water purification. My mom's got cancer. We need to have reliable power in this house. We need to get the conductors done, honey. And the other spouse nods. Yeah, you're right. Let's just do that one. Now, you didn't convince them. They convinced themselves. That's the Mount Olympus of sales. You didn't sell anything. The customer sold themselves. The silence gave them the space to do it. Many sales are lost in those 10 seconds after what should we do? Because the salesperson simply couldn't shut up and stay quiet. They filled the silence with more expectations, more features, more benefits, more discounts, more justification. The more you talk, the more you risk creating doubt. Giving information to make them search and shop around is what you're going to do if you keep talking then after we say, what should we do? Now, being quiet feels risky, but it's actually the most professional 100% thing you can do to show respect, show you believe in the process, and show your customers that you are a full authority on the subject. Silence is your final act of service. Here are some action items. Number one, practice every presentation with what should we do and then stay silent. Matter of fact, I would say go home to your husband or your wife or your girlfriend or your mom or find someone and just make a presentation and say, what should we do? And tell the person, just stare at me and don't decide for at least 15 seconds, just so you can feel what that feels like. I want you to get comfortable with getting uncomfortable at that moment. Matter of fact, Sabrina and I will practice that for you so you can see a demonstration of that soon, right? Number two, your assignment action item, get comfortable counting to 10 in your head before you speak again. 10, 9, 8, 7. Just keep counting silently in your head. After that, think about something else that has nothing to do with the sale. I wonder if the Cubs are going to win the playoffs this year. Who are the Bears playing? I don't know. Something that has nothing to do with, did I cut the grass? That kind of a thing. Just get your mind away from the job and let the client think so you're not tempted to throw yourself into it. And then here's the thing, guys. Remind yourself this. The person who speaks first after what should we do gives up control of this opportunity. All right. That is all we have on this lesson. I know, man, I could go on for hours, but that would be the opposite of standing silent. That would I tried to give you some intentional pauses in that lesson, and I know Sabrina and I both talked about it, and we both admitted. So, Sabrina, you want to come on with me? We both had to admit that this is not one of our superpowers, right, Sabrina? We both had to.
The power of silence. No, it's not. It's definitely something that we struggle with. But the good news is that we've dedicated a lot of time and effort into getting better. So yeah, there's a lot of benefits to making sure that we're giving the client the opportunity for mental breathing room and letting them make a decision without talking ourselves into a corner, for sure.
Yeah, it's like it's like, and then whatever people say, it's like they just stare and they stop. So Joe, what should we do? And it's like, wow. And then they say different things. If they don't ask you a question, there's no need to answer. Just shut up. Like, let's go ahead, Sabrina, you give it a try. You say, so Joe, here's the solutions. What should we do? And how about this? How about this, Sabrina? I'll be the salesperson and you be the consumer.
Okay.
See if you can keep. We'll see if we both can keep silent since we got to work on it. So it'll help both of us in this case. You play the
Okay.
consumer first, and I'll be the salesperson, and let's just give it like I don't know, 15 seconds, 10 seconds, and see what it sounds like. Here we go. You ready?
All right. Let's get into it
Sabrina,
here.
Sabrina, and this also includes the 5-year warranty. I did this for you, Sabrina, to make sure we could take care of you and your family. So, Sabrina, here's the price right here. After we ask you to guess on the price. No, Sabrina, I was just kidding. The price is only $297 a month. So, what should we do?
I don't know, Joe. Maybe that top options. That's just a lot of money. We're just going to need some time to dissect this. This is a lot.
Take your time, Sabrina. What should we do?
Oh gosh. You guys have financing available? Is that something you guys would be able to help us out with?
Well, it is at 297 a month. That is the bridge loan we have that allows us to give you all the money to get the job done. So you don't have to pay for it now. If I said I could do that, what would happen then?
I don't know. Man, I don't know. Well, let's just go ahead. Let's explore the financing options. How soon can you guys get this done? How soon can you get the project completed?
Well, first of all, thank you for being interested. I wasn't sure if you were. You were so silent for a while there. I wasn't sure if you had interest. Um, if I said I could make your project a priority, uh, and get the job done whenever you'd like to, like we could actually start it today if you'd like to, and then get the project finished tomorrow, what would happen then?
Well, I checked my calendar here, and the soonest availability I'm actually going to have is actually on Thursday. Could you guys have the job completed and finished by then?
Well, I mean, Thursday is a premium day right before the weekend. Everybody wants to, they want to get everything done before the weekend because, a lot of stuff going on with the fall hitting us now soon. If I said that we could make your family a priority on Thursday and then finish the job by Friday, what would happen then?
Well, I mean, truthfully, we have to do something. We have to do something here, right? So I think we're leaning more towards the not the top option there, but the second one below. I think we're leaning more towards that one. If you guys are able to get it taken care of by the end of this week, let's go ahead. Let's get that option done. Let's just do that.
Hold on for a second, Sabrina. What do you like about that option? That's a good option. What do you like about it? It's a good choice. What do you like about it?
Well, honestly, it really helps prevent, us jumping from the frying pan into the fire. We're going to be taken care of long term. So I think that was a big focal point for us. We have service, we have maintenance. We're not having problems, systems breaking down every once a year. So I think it'd just be wise if we just go ahead and go with that top one, that second to top one.
Well, I wasn't going to say this, but can I share something should I share a little secret?
Well, what's that?
That's my favorite one too. And it's funny, isn't it? We both like that one. Uh, so if I could get that one done on Thursday and finish on Friday, what would happen then?
Let's just go ahead and get it taken care of. Let's just do that, Joe.
We're gonna do that bridge loan, or we're gonna use a check or credit card?
Let's just go ahead and focus on the bridge loan here. I think that'd be
The bridge
best
loan.
for us.
All right. So what should we do?
Let's just go ahead and do it. Let's get that taken care of.
There you go. Give her a round of applause for being a great consumer. Great job on that, Sabrina. But I think I did want to kind of go over that just because when you hear me on social media or you hear the videos that you watch, there's not a lot of that on the videos. There's more of me just teaching and teaching and teaching and teaching. I think the coaching and the classes are very similar. We play the video, move on to something. Not a lot of that there, and because we do have to make sure people aren't going to fall asleep. But honestly, an actual call, when you go on a real service call or sales call, that's more the tone that really should be there. Um, have patience. Let the opportunity come to you. Don't chase opportunity. If you chase it, you become desperate, and people can smell the desperation on you. Sabrina, does that make sense, sir?
Oh, totally. Absolutely. You, like I said before, you want to give people the opportunity to express interest and express the desire to know what it is that you're offering them. You got to give them the opportunity to ask questions. You can't do that if you're just, giving them information overload. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the point there, right? We got to make sure that we are giving people just enough information to make a purchase, and not too much information to where we start to talk our way out of an opportunity. So I will put it this way: I've heard many of sales and service people talk their way out of an opportunity, but I have never heard somebody ever listen their way out of an opportunity. Does that make sense, Sabrina?
Yeah.
That's the key thing here. So I've never heard anybody listen their way out of an opportunity. So just have patience, and you can see there is some talking, but the amount of talking I did when we were closing the job is almost is very. I tried to say, how can I? The only thought, here's a good thought to have when it's silent like that. Like think, whatever response I get, how can I say it in as few of words as possible? That's what you should be thinking. Because the fewer words you have, the more confidence that you seem, and the more the project moves forward. And you can see Sabrina, I think it's a normal client interaction where she just like talked herself into getting the job. And I think well, I think all of us do that
Hmm.
silently in our head. We go to a mall and like, man, I'd like to get that. No, I can't afford that right now. It's like, well, let me go back and look at it again. And you're like, you know what? I deserve this. It's only shoes. I mean, who could ever argue that shoes aren't valuable? It's like you start to justify it. There's first you're in denial. I can't afford that. Then you're like, well, let me take a look at it again to reframe it. And then you start justifying it. I could definitely. I got to take care of myself. When's the last time I did something for me? Kind of thing. I think
Right.
that, then
Right.
we arrive at the thing that I'm just going to get this thing, and just once you, it's like, isn't it interesting how with there's a threshold, the decision threshold, and once you go over the top of it, like you're like, oh, I don't think I'm going to do this. But then once you cross that threshold, it's like nobody can stop me from doing this. Isn't
Right.
it like, so you ever experience that? Like you're like, oh, I'm not going to do this, and then you think about it, you're silent, you shut up yourself, and you're like, yeah, I gotta go back and just do that. And then once you made that choice to do it, there's nothing that can literally stop you from it. Have you ever experienced that before when you
Yes.
purchase
Oh my
something?
God. Yes. And like you have to like talk yourself into like making a purchase or, doing something. And, it could be something crazy as, oh, well, should I do this instead of this? Or not even just like a purchase thing. Sometimes you have to like just like mentally go back and forth with yourself. And then once you're convinced, it's like, okay, you know what, let's just go ahead and do it. Let's get to that point where we've made that decision. And then, moving forward, it's like, okay, I'm glad that I went ahead and did that because that's one less thing for me to think about, one less thing I have to worry about and try to, compartmentalize moving forward. So it's cool.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and open it up to the great group of MVPs. We have a bunch of service MVPs joining us here on this podcast. Who do you think is ready for joining us here? Ethan, do you have anybody you'd like to either voluntarily join in, or what do you think?
Yeah, so right now I do want to open everything up and let everyone know that they have a Q&A button at the bottom of their screens right now at the bottom of their Zoom. So if they have any questions for either Joe or Sabrina or both of them to answer together, we have that open for you. It's the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. So just throw your questions in there. But once again, I think I'm going to throw it to Sabrina. Sabrina, I'm going to have you go, if you can see the attendee list, I want to have you call out someone to have you guys join with you as a panelist.
Yes, absolutely. So I saw a name in here earlier and I was rather excited because I remember having their team here. Let me see, where did the name go? Where did it go? Okay, he's not there anymore. I was really excited to have him pulled up here, but I'm equally as excited to check in here. We had George. George sent us a really nice message where he was clapping in agreement, like he agreed with something there. Let's pull him up here and see what his thoughts are
Awesome.
in terms of what we were just talking about.
Perfect. George, I just sent you a invite to become a panelist. So as soon as that comes through, perfect. He just accepted that. Just throw on your audio and video, and we'll just give George a second to do that. For everyone else, once again, we have the Q&A open at the very bottom of your Zooms. So if you guys have any questions throughout, or Additionally, if you guys just have anything that you're struggling with your business right now, and you guys need some expert help and you want to get it taken care of right now, we've got two experts here that are going to be helping you guys out with that. So feel free to put any of those questions into that Q&A at the bottom.
Yeah, if you
Hey,
want to learn
George,
how
how's
to
it
make
going?
better options, or if you want to learn how to, do anything, we're here to help you guys. So
Exactly.
anybody who wants to learn and grow, and maybe you're a little bit unsure as to certain parts of the system and things like that, you're definitely welcome to join us and to give us your thoughts on this. We're definitely here to help you with it. Make sense? So go ahead and just open it up. There's no the only question that's stupid is the one that you did not ask. Is the there's only dumb It's only dumb question that we have. Make sense? Other than that, it's
Awesome.
impossible to ask a dumb question.
That's great. George, how's it going? I'm going to add you to the spotlight here. How are you today, George?
Hey, good afternoon. How are we doing?
Hey, George, you're back again. Nice seeing you from
Back
over at Brody
again, back
Pennell.
again. Yeah.
Back for week two.
I just wanted to add, it's pretty awesome. I do enjoy this, and it's kind of refreshing to hear, being when you present the options and just zip it, right? And it's true. It is probably one of the most uncomfortable feelings that you can get, and trying to, you know, teach my technicians that like it's a legitimate thing, right? You sit there, you present your options, you've already done all the work, you've done everything that you needed to do, and then just present it and zip it, right? And it's like people are really, their minds are thinking, so they need some time to process, right? We're not talking about $5 or $20. We're talking about thousands of dollars. So like it does take some time. So it's pretty refreshing to hear this podcast going over that.
Well, George, any professional athlete of any kind, like if you're a golfer, you don't sink a putt by hitting the ball harder. You don't complete a pass by throwing the ball faster or harder at the receiver. It has to have an arc on it. Sometimes you have to throw it just right to catch it the right way over the top of the defense. You'll get intercepted if you're a pitcher and you throw the ball too hard. You throw the ball too hard, you'll be wild. If you're a batter and you swing the bat too hard, you will not connect. You'll end up striking out. You know what I'm saying? If you look at all the different sports, when you do too much or try and do too much activity, it's not the sweet spot. Does that make sense, there, George? There's a certain every game, like when you watch like soccer or things like that. It's not that people are running all over the place. They're passing the ball right at the right time. The timing is right. Wait for the ball to come to you. You're not going to run around the whole. Everybody ran around the field chasing the ball. It'd be chaos in a soccer game. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, there, George?
It's yeah, it's like when you're watching little kids and they're playing soccer. All of them just they're all chasing the ball. It is
No, group
madness
onto
and
the
it's a
ball.
good
So,
time.
stay in your position, and then, the ball's going to come to you. Don't worry about it, right? So I think that's kind of like the idea behind it. And I think, one thing, at a place like Brody Pennell, one of those things that's probably not trained on enough is this would be a good training exercise. Today, we're going to use the power of silence. And I want everybody to make a presentation and just shut up and listen to the person. Just wait and decide, and then say something. By the way, the time that you're waiting gives you time to think about what am I going to say when they give me resistance. Instead of trying to have a snap decision, give yourself time to think about, hmm, I need to think about this. Take all the time you want. What should we do? Like, because I had time to process myself, right? So not only does the customer have a chance to process it, but we have a chance to process our response to the client. This way, we're not trying too hard in a way. Does that make sense, George?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It also allows us to see what exactly they're looking at. If you have multiple options, right? Hey, which option are they looking at? Help cater to whichever one they're going to or whichever one you're trying to get them to go to. Because if somebody's picking the bottom option, in most cases, it's not the best scenario. So you may want to just be ready to have a rebuttal on like, hey, that is a great option. But this one
I
right
think you've
here,
seen
this
it
is real.
yourself, Sabrina, right? Where when somebody doesn't like anything, they just throw it away real easy. But if they
Hmm.
stop and look at it for a while, What do you think, Sabrina? That's a pretty good indicator, isn't it? That somebody just like,
Yeah.
let me look at these things, and they're taking 10, 15 seconds to look at it. I think it's pretty quick to see if you don't like anything and just throw it away. Like, right? Sabrina, what do you think about that?
Right, because the questions that somebody who wants to talk, the questions that they would love to just immediately jump into and have that conversation about, those are questions that the client is silently asking themselves. They're like, what do I like about that option? Or why does this one make more sense over this one right here? So when you are quiet and you're giving the client the opportunity to think and come up with a decision on their own, you're giving them the opportunity. You're not giving them like, you're not just in the background, asking all these questions. You're like, can you give me a minute? I'm trying to think here. So you giving them that grace and giving them that breathing space helps them and shows them like, hey, this person's confident in what they're offering us, and they don't need to, just keep yapping on and on. And for me to make a decision, I'm given the chance to make it on my own.
Very true. George, that would be a great training exercise with the team. What do you think of that? Just like, okay, you say what should we do, and you shut up and don't say anything for 15 seconds. Make the other person wait, and let's all see. They'll start laughing and they'll start giggling or whatever. It'll be interesting. To me, that would be just a good little training exercise to do, just to try that out. What do you think of that, George?
It's a good idea for tomorrow. Honestly, it is a very good idea.
To do that tomorrow morning, and everybody, let's give that a try tomorrow. Just called the power of silence, and get comfortable with it, because that's what's normal, honestly. And I think guys who've done this a while would probably say, yeah, that's what it does sound like when I do sell jobs like this, for sure. The people who do talk at that moment, they start giving justification. No, don't forget, we're gonna do this too, or we're gonna do it. It's like, dude, shut up. We're just trying to decide, right?
Exactly.
It's like, if you ever rode with someone, I used to do ride-alongs. I would kick the guy in the ankle and say, "Shut up!" He's trying to decide.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You have the new technician out there, and they're trying to justify it, and you're sitting there like, oh, come on, man, just zip it, please.
I've
Well,
got to
definitely,
ask George.
George. Go ahead. Sorry, go
Do you,
ahead.
yeah, no, George, do you have kids, littles,
I
anything
do,
like that?
I do.
Okay. How old are they?
Uh, 18 and 16.
Okay, so not exactly little, but do you remember a case in point when they were younger where you asked like a simple question? Like you knew somebody did something, but you ask a simple question and then one of them starts like, yammering on and trying to like defend themselves and like over talking. You just immediately know you're like, somebody's guilty here. Somebody's guilty of something, right? Like somebody did something. That's the same concept that applies when we over talk with our clients. It's like, why are you trying to dig yourself out of a hole that you put yourself into? Like, what, give me a moment here, right? Like, well, let me process all this. Same concept applies. So, when you get in that position where you're over talking, you think you're doing the right thing. You think that you probably have good intentions, right? But at the same time, like the client could be like, what are you going on about? Like, what's your problem, right? Like, what are you trying to oversell yourself on? So that's another perspective to have on that as well.
If
And
you got a quiet kid, you got the quiet kid, and the other kid is saying, "That's not fair." The one who's screaming at you, and the one who's quiet, probably the one who's quiet. You probably favor, you probably believe that one more than you do the one who's screaming it's not fair and all that kind of a thing, and who's accusing the other kid of something. And the quiet one is like, "What's going on?" And then you ask that one who's quiet, "Hey, hang on. What's going on?" And then you ask the quiet one, "What's going on?" And, it's like, isn't it funny how we automatically think, "Shut up, I want to listen to this one." It's the person who's silent is the person who's got power. I think that's really what it comes down to. So if you want to have confidence and power, this is what confidence and power looks like, is that moment of silence when you're letting people, you're confident, you made the choice, here it is, what should we do? And just shut up and listen, and let the opportunity come to you. I think it's a great lesson for tomorrow. It's definitely a different one, right? Not normally taught, and I think you'll surprise people tomorrow, George, if you do introduce
yeah,
yourself.
I think it's more so not one that we focused on, but it's something like when I critique, if we're doing role plays and we're going through it, and it's just like, hey, when you present that, just zip it, right? And I wanted to add on top of that, like sometimes the customer's just being nice and they'll listen and they've already made a decision. And it goes back to you saying, like, hey, you could talk yourself out of a sale, like just sitting there trying to justify it. And it was already done. It was a done deal. You just had to zip it and then you talked it out. You talked your way out of it. So
Right.
very
Well,
true.
I'll give you an
Exactly.
example. I had a sales call today, and I was like, "So what can I do to make you smile?" He goes, "I just ready to buy 2 tickets to Total Immersion." I'm like, "Okay, so what should we do?" goes, let's just do it. And I'm like, oh, listen, like I didn't have to explain. I thought I'm going to have to explain everything. I was ready to explain everything, but he was like, I just ready to buy 2 tickets to live event. How do I do it? Oh, let's go to the link. Should I do it for you or you want to do it yourself? I said, I'll do it for you. So then we sold it to him and got his credit card and he bought 2 tickets, so it's interesting. Even, again, I was telling him about Sabrina and myself, we're definitely no stranger to this being a liability. We have to definitely make sure we don't fall into that trap of talking too much either. And I think when you manage people too, George, you're managing a big group there. If you had to talk too much, when you have to talk too much when you're managing or trying to get people to change their behavior, in a way, you're doing too much for the employee. The employee's got to think themselves and commit to whatever you're trying to get them to do. Make sense, sir? Probably the best management move is like, you know what? Take a look at that truck. Take 5 minutes and look at it, and then come back and tell me if you think that's the way it should look. And then just shut up and see what they say. Does that make sense, sir? Otherwise we could be like the crazy kid who's like, you got to clean that truck. You got to, like, we get desperate to get the truck cleaned or something like that. You got to wear a uniform. It's like, wait a second, look in the mirror, take a look take 10 seconds, look in the mirror, ask yourself if that's the uniform. That's the way we want Brodie Pennell to look today. I'll be back in 5 minutes. You wait right here. Like, how powerful that would be.
Yeah.
It's a management move rather than talking too much. Otherwise, you got to explain the handbook and the uniform policy and all that kind of thing. You already did all that. You got a plain evidence of how we dress every day at Brodie Pennell, so you don't have to explain it twice. But I think we all could learn from this with our children, with our management systems, with our thing. It's really a good lesson for all of us. I think it's I always say this is one of the best lessons. I love teaching this one. It's no teaching it. It's something I learned. I kind of relearn the lesson myself every time I teach it, honestly, George, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it again. It's he's a regular now. We got to call it the Sabrina and Joe and George show
There we go.
instead of the MVP book club. Thanks for coming back, George.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
You're coming
Thanks
back.
for being here, George.
It works if you work it and you're worth it, George. So come back anytime you want.
No.
Welcome here.
Awesome.
Who's next, Ethan? Anything else?
All
Let's
right.
go.
We once again, we have the Q&A open down at the bottom of your Zoom. So if you have any questions and want to come up and ask Joe and Sabrina, we have those questions, the question and A section open for you. But before we do that, Sabrina, I'm gonna have you pick out someone else to come up and chat with us a little bit about having some of that patience and maybe what they might be doing correct or not correct.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would love to. Now I've seen a couple different names here, but one that